Welcome back, friends, and hello to those of you who are new here. I'm Viorica Wakelam.
And I'm Andrew Wakelam.
And today we are going to be going over 5 steps to help you prepare for financial uncertainty. By the end of this video, you will have actionable steps that you can implement today to secure your financial future. But before we move forward, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get notified anytime that we put out new tips and new strategies to help you build your financial success.
So, step number 1, build an emergency fund. So for an emergency fund, everybody's situation is a little bit different, but at minimum you want at least $1,000 cash on hand. Now this is literally money that you'll either have under your mattress or in your closet, somewhere easily accessible, most likely within your home, that you can access in case of an on-hand emergency where you don't want to use a credit card or anything like that, but you need cash quickly. So for example, a few years back, Viorica and I, we live on a property, and the water to our house actually comes from a well. Well, the well pump went out. That cost about $3,000 just cash on hand that I was able to take out of my emergency fund and pay without having to dip into anything like savings account in a bank or anything like that. So that's the value of having cash on hand. This is the simplest way that people think of to get cash on hand quickly, at least $1,000, selling something. So whether you want to have a yard sale or sell a car that's been maybe sitting in the driveway for too long, or sell, and this might hurt a little, but maybe one of those toys that you haven't been using in a while, maybe some jet skis that are a little old that you haven't had a chance to take out, but you've always told yourself you're going to, or something like that. Anything that you can part with or sell that's not really going to hurt you too much emotionally or financially, but at the same time will give you some quick cash fast. And from there, you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of cash flow on hand. So that means, like, for example, if you make $3,000 a month, you're going to want anywhere between $9,000 and $20,000 of cash in a short-term savings account. So we recommend putting this into something like a money market account, where you're not making a ton of growth on it, but you're making a little bit better interest than you would if you just had it in a savings account at a bank. This is going to be money that you can get pretty much at any time you need within 24 hours, but you're not going to be, again, dipping into something like a long-term savings fund or, heaven forbid, your retirement savings or the kids' college fund or something like that. We all know how life can hit us, so having that money on hand, first that $1,000 of cash on hand, and then also that 3 to 6 months of savings. Like I said, something in like a money market account that's easily accessible within 24 hours. That's really going to be able to protect your long-term savings and financial goals.
Step number 2, keeping a flexible budget. Now, making sure that it's flexible is very important, but more important than the flexibility is the budget itself. Now, when we talk about budget, the most important thing to keep in mind is that you want to have it on paper. Let's not be budgeting in our heads or doing this verbal budget where we tell each other, hey, this is how much we have and this is how much we can spend. By doing that, you will ensure that there will be holes in your budget plan that you didn't allot for because you didn't see it on paper. The most important thing is to make sure that you pre-spend your money. And what do I mean by that? Is that when you know exactly how much you should be making, before it comes into your family's, pockets, you want to make sure you pre-spend it. In your mind, you want to know exactly what you're allotting for, where your budget is meant to go. That way you can allot for things like, the family dinners that you wanted to have, that you guys love to have, or the game nights, or whatever it is that your family likes to do. Make sure that you pre-spend that money. So that way, once it's coming in, it's not just accidentally going to that, dinner that wasn't planned for, or that movie night with your friends, or anything like that. And having some flexibility with it is really, really important. Being able to first create this habit really comes down to understanding first and foremost what's most important to you. And so keeping a flexible budget is super, super important, and making sure it's on paper so you're seeing exactly where it's going and you can see practically where can we cut out. And then review it often. Reviewing is the number one key to success, especially when it comes to finances. You want to make sure that you're reviewing until you've created an automatic habit in your life where you're on autopilot with your money, you want to make sure that you're reviewing often. So that way, that habit that maybe didn't serve you, which was the coffee run and the extra pair of shoes or whatever it was for an event that you had coming up, all of those things that you were doing just out of impulse, now you're doing on purpose. So have a budget, stick to it, pre-spend your money before you actually get it, and and then you'll be set and on track for saving as much as you can.
All right, guys, step number 3, pay off debt. Now, one of the things you want to do is focus on high interest debt first when you're tackling your debt situation. So the idea behind paying off high interest debt first is to incorporate a strategy that we call debt snowballing or debt stacking. So what you're going to do is you're going to pay the highest interest off first, and then once you free up that money, say you pay off a credit card with a balance of $50 every month. You think, oh great, I paid off my credit card early. Now I have $50 to spend. No, you want to take that $50 and you want to roll that into the next highest interest debt payment. So then you're paying an additional $50 on top of the minimum payment of what you're paying for your second debt. Once you pay that second debt off, you roll what you were paying to the second and first debt and you roll that into the third so that you can pay that off even faster. You see how that kind of compounds over time. That's what we call debt stacking and debt snowballing. By doing this and incorporating this strategy, you can literally pay off debt that would normally take you between 10 and 20 years to pay off. You can chunk it down between, usually within 3 to 4 years. Most of the people that we work with are able to pay that debt off in that amount of time. So it really helps.
All right, tip number 4, diversifying your income stream and monetizing your skills. It's super, super, super important in the context of your money and your financial portfolio and your growth to be able to not rely on one income solely. Why? Obviously, because if something were to happen to that one income stream and that no longer is coming through, you're left in a super tight situation up a creek without a paddle, right? So making sure that you diversify your income streams is super, super important. A few ways that you can consider doing that would be to monetize a skill that maybe you haven't been doing up until this point. Maybe you're really good at baking and you want to make some pies on the weekends and sell them at a farmer's market. Or maybe you're really good at crocheting or doing something fun like that. Or as a man, maybe you are really good in crocheting in the garage and you can, do stuff with tools. Obviously, that's not my strength, right? Also, realizing that these days we have lots of different ways to generate an income, whether it's doing, an online affiliate program or, selling oils or something of that nature with a network market or whatever it is that you can do that helps you to diversify your income stream that allows you to then be able to hit those goals.
So tip number 5, the final step, invest in things that are stable like mutual funds. In the market, we're all aware of things like stocks, bonds, things of that nature. Well, for example, if you were to have the idea that I'm going to put all of my money into Apple, one day, because Apple seems to be a really huge company. They seem to be really doing well. I would like a piece of that action. So you take all your money and you put it into the Apple stock. Well, let's just say next month, Apple has a very poor month for whatever reason. Foreign economy here in America, who knows? But Apple goes down. All of a sudden, guess what happens to your money? The value of your money goes down as well. So people tend to panic and then they say, oh, this doesn't work, and then they pull their money out way too soon, okay? With a mutual fund spreads out the risk over many different companies and many different investment strategies. So whereas in the first example, you were putting all your money into Apple, if you were to take that same amount of money, say $500 a month, and you were to put that into a mutual fund will put a little bit of your money into Apple, but it'll also put it into companies like Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot, many large companies. So it would spread out the risk. So if one company does poor one month, another company does okay, it balances out the risk. So mutual funds are a great way to essentially just balance out risk, lower the risk, and maintain risk management. And also what a mutual fund does is a lot of these mutual fund companies have great histories to where they have track records of being able to bring consistent returns over time that not only profit the investor, but also help to minimize that risk. So that's why we like mutual funds. That's one of the reasons why we like mutual funds.
All right, friends, now you've got 5 practical tips on how to prepare for financial uncertainty. If you got any value, if you liked what you heard today, please make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell for more tips moving forward on how to build a strong financial foundation.
And also, if you guys could just drop the word prepare in the comments below if you are ready to break through to a better financial future, we will see you guys next week.
Keep breaking through.